Hello fellow builders and happy New Year's Eve. As we are on the last day of the year, I figured this would be a pretty good time to look back over 2021 and share with you some of my favorite things. In no particular order, but it was a year, and one would think that there's not much that we could have taken away positively from that, but when you sit down and drill down to it, there's probably more positives there than you think there are. So let's get started. At the top of the list has to be getting to go on other shows as a guest. And I got to do two of those. The first one was Force Chatter, and I got to be on with Eric and Lou and Tim and Tom. It's a great show. Force Chatter obviously has to do with Star Wars, but in this particular episode we were talking about props and cosplay and things of that nature. Both Tim and Lou both cosplay as a mud trooper, and Eric, I had one of the helmets that I made. If you saw the video that I did for my builds of 2021, that very first helmet I actually built for Eric. Tom's on another level. Tom, that guy, wow, he is like the reigning Star Wars knowledge champ of the world. The guy, he's amazing. But it's a great place to go and get your Star Wars news and just good talk. And then they have other shows that they talk about other sci-fi and other media related things. But it's a good place to be, and I really enjoyed being on with those guys. I was actually kind of talking to them beforehand, and then they asked me to be on the show, and it kind of helped more solidify a friendship there, especially since we kind of both do this. The next time I got to do an interview was with Chris and Pete over on Interfleet Broadcasting. Now, their platform is 70s Battlestar Galactica. That's kind of the baseline, but then, it's sci-fi. We're kids of the 70s and 80s, and they branch out from there. Their show is on every Thursday night, and you'll catch me over there commenting, and they're going through like Battlestar Galactica stories and talking to different people, and there's just a great group of guys over there. And again, when they interviewed me, it was for the same kind of thing. Pete saw my Colonial Warrior that I wore to Wonderfest, and he looked me up, and next thing I know, we're talking on, we're on the internet. So, and that has turned into a really good friendship. Now, another favorite of mine, which I haven't actually gotten to speak to him in person, but he's got a great channel. I'm sensing a theme here. All these internet people that I'm watching and watch build things or whatever, is Interstellar Modeler. Now, Augie over there, he's the guy that had the diorama in Louisville of the Battlestar Galactica Viper in the launch tube. That's just amazing. And he's this guy here. So, he's a cosplayer and, a model builder. But earlier in the year, he started oil painting, I think. And then, so he started doing book nooks and started doing some of the background walls. He's painting those. So, it's like taking the whole model building thing to another level. I don't consider myself an artist. What he's doing is just fabulous. Check out his channel as well. He also does a thing where he has people send models into him, or pictures of the models into him, and he showcases their models. It's one of those shows that I watch and I get inspiration from. Matter of fact, he is the one that has kind of inspired me to do a book nook. So that's going to be what one of the projects for 2022. Although I've spent the majority of the year scratch building and building my own stuff or stuff I already had, I think I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that there were a couple of kits that we've been waiting for to come out that finally did come out. One of which is the Mandalorian Kit, which it's a Bandai, so you know it's already going to be good. All the ones that I've have, the figures I have prior to this one, I cannot complain about. And then if you throw on top of the fact that they gave you, as far as accessories, you have the Darksaber with it, as well as the long rifle, as well as the pistols. I think there might be another one in there. On this one, I'm going to use the rub and buff to shine up the armor, because there are a couple of episodes there right after he gets the Beskar armor. It's really shining, and I really want to showcase that. So bravo to you. I'm definitely happy with those two things. Most importantly, my favorite thing has got to be you guys. I've been doing this for 3 years now, and just on YouTube alone, I'm up to like 250 subscribers, plus the Facebook, plus, you know, what I've got on Instagram. And it's very humbling to have people really watch what you're doing and enjoy it. And it makes you want to be better, do better. Much like, you know, the other guys, the, you know, Interfleet Broadcasting and Force Chatter and Interstellar Modeler, you know. Everyone's so supportive, and they try and help you and bring you up. And because I want to do better for you, that's made me invest in better equipment. I got a new camera, so it looks better for, you know, hey, if it's stinky or dirty, we're doing it in the garage, so those shots look better. I've worked on the bench in the other room to where we have a good overhead camera, so we can do some head down shots, so I can actually work on stuff. I've even started doing a little live streaming. It's been a little bit since we've done it, but all the things are there, and I wouldn't even think about trying to upgrade and do better if it weren't for you. So for that, I cannot thank you enough. But we're almost to 2022, and all I can think is, as the good things of 2021 can only get better in 2022. So what do we have planned for 2022? Well, first of all, I'm still going to give away the Warehouse 13 Tesla gun. I'm going to use it as a template, and then once to make the pieces out of metal, and then give away the kit that I have to one of you guys. The problem right now is sourcing metal. The middle portion of it I want to make out of brass, and what they want for small little pieces of cutoffs of brass in my brain is what I should be paying for like a 4-foot bar of brass. I'll find it, and so that's going to happen. We're also going to do some upgrades to our Mandalorian. Even if I just take the cape and iron the crease out of it. I'm like, what? I was in a hurry. Had to get to Wonderfest, and I didn't have time to iron. But yeah, you know, and I want to tatter it up. I want to dirty it up a little bit. I think maybe the whole thing needs a little bit scunging up. Not to mention, I think I'm going to do a little bit more adjustments to maybe add a more accoutrement to the belt. And then, so that's going to go to Wonderfest, as well as the Colonial Mandalorian. And for that guy, I'm trying to decide. So we've got the backpack, we've got the jacket. I think we're going to forego the jacket on that one because the buckles are Velcro and they look horrific. But it needs something else. So I'm looking at maybe some arm guards or lower, or maybe even getting some new boots. So there's some upgrades that we're going to do there. And then I'm going to do something with the Razor Crest kit. I did a little bit of an unboxing. Excuse the video. I didn't have all my lights on, and the video's wonky, but you'll get the idea. So we're gonna cut to that. Before we go to the video, I forgot one of my favorite things. And that's because actually I had the entire video done, and it was all how it's getting ready to look. It was all grainy and everything. And I decided to reshoot everything. And in the process, I left one of my favorite things out because I was trying to make sure I got it all. And the thing I left out was going to Louisville and being able to troop with someone else for the first time. I got to troop with my buddy Jeff. He was the World War I Mandalorian. It's the first time I've actually ever trooped with someone else, and it was great fun, and I look forward to doing it again this year with both my Mandalorians. So we'll do one and I'll go do a quick change, and we'll do the other. So Jeff, I hope you're ready. Now, on to the next video. Okay, let's talk about this guy. Doing my Christmas shopping, and of course I end up back in the model section and saw this on the shelf. And immediately I was like, oh my goodness, it's out. So when I first saw it, it was one of those situations of being excited, happy, exhilarated, and a little bit disappointed all at the same time. Because I've waited for this kit all year long. You know, it's coming out, the Bondi kit, and you know, Bondi is going to be great. But look at the size of the box, and that's just this. When I first saw it, even though it was 40% off, I walked away. I was like, no, I am not spending that much money on that little itty bitty kit before I even opened it. And even I came home and kind of looked on the internet to see other people's unboxing of it to see kind of how big it was, and I was kind of right on the size from what I could tell. And then I had a thought, because before this came out, before the announcement for this came out, I already had a 3D file for Razor Crest. And the one thing that I was going to have trouble doing is the decal on the side. The Razor Crest has this kind of yellow, I don't know what they were, some kind of lines on there, and they've been chipped and whatever. And I actually had two thoughts. So anyway, the first thought was, if I get the model, I can scan the decals, and that way that I will have them for the bigger model that I'm planning on building in the future. And this I can have this as a desktop model. I can take it to work or whatever. So let's kind of look at this and see what we get. Because then I had another idea. Okay. It's molded in silver already, which I will most likely prime it and repaint it. And so there we are with our decals. So these are the decals that I was talking about on the side, that go on the side. And they're a little bit beat up and worn, and those are going to be for your glass in the front, the windscreen or whatever. But I'll just probably paint that. What does that say? Lucasfilm. I don't know what those are, but this is the relative size, Let's pull out the old calipers. So, it would help if you turned them on there, buddy. There you go. Okay. So front to back, 84 millimeters. Side to side, once you throw your engines on there, it's probably going to be somewhere in there. 84, 85 millimeters. Okay. So, if I'm being honest, wow. At this point, I am not impressed. I hate to say it, but I'm a little bit disappointed because it is so small. I think Revell Germany is coming out with one, and it's a little bit bigger. I don't know how much it's going to cost. I don't know when I'm going to see one. But I think I'm going to be happier with the 3D print that I'm going to make, especially now that I have the resin printer up and running, and I will be able to get that going. It'll be a decent size, because I think the Revell Germany one is probably going to be a little bit bigger than I want, and at least with the 3D print I can figure out what size I want on my own. But this is what I'm thinking. And maybe they were thinking the same thing. Maybe they were trying to put the two models in scale. Let me back that up. Maybe they were trying to keep all the Bandai model ships in scale with each other. So what I did was I went to Wikipedia to check out to see what the sizes were. So the Razor Crest is supposed to be 14 millimeters long, 9 millimeters wide, and 5 millimeters high. Meters. 14 meters long, 9 meters wide, 5 meters high. Alright? And so compared to an X-Wing, it's 13.9 millimeters long, 11.76 meters, 13.4 meters long, which is almost the same length, 11.76 meters wide, and 2.4 meters high. So, if you look at them, let's switch back. In comparison, it's about right on the length, and then once you get, it's about right on the width, all right, and definitely on the height, So, here's the plan. The only saving grace for me on this is that I've been wanting to do a book nook, and I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do to be the book nook of. If you were watching the Mandalorian as a series, there's the episode where the X-Wings are chasing the Razor Crest through this ice planet. And I think the Nook the book nook would be a perfect narrow channel to have the Razor Crest in there. I haven't figured out how I'm going to do it, but you'll have the Razor Crest going away, well, either going away from you or coming back at you, with the X-Wings in pursuit. And that's the only reason that this is going to be a thing for me. There's going to be some kind of diorama with X-Wings and this Razor Crest and the Razor Crest. So we're not gonna call this bad yet. We're on an adventure. An adventure. Always on an adventure. So we're gonna put all this together. We're gonna gather all the pieces. We're gonna put it in a tub, and that's gonna get built this year. We're gonna do that. Haven't decided what order we're gonna do things in, but we're just talking at this point. We're talking about how our year's going, or how our year's going to go. With that, I think we're gonna call it. It was a good year. It had its challenges, to be sure, but at the end of the day, I can safely say I came out better than I did worse, so I can't complain. But we've got all the materials that we need to go build something, and so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start a build, and I want you to start one too. So let's get to it. It's gonna be New Year's coming up. Be careful. The crazies are gonna be out. There's gonna be a lot of drinking. Just, you know the saying, have fun, be safe, and go build something. Happy New Year. Pew 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 pew.